Okay, now for the second part of what you're going to be doing here is collecting the data. So you have, let's say 100, of these cones. That's what you picked for this particular experiment. So what you're going to do is you're going to need the balance that comes with your kit and a ruler. Now, again, if you choose different types of things, like say a berry, you can still use the balance, but you might use some other thing to measure it, like its diameter. So there's some string in the kit, you can kind of go around it and then measure that. It's a little bit extra work. Those are some ideas, okay? So what you'll be doing is turn on your balance, make sure it's tiered, make sure you get a data sheet. It's going to be, say, for 100 data points. Write down the organism, weight, length. So I'm going to take just one cone here, put it, you don't see the weight here, but I'm going to write it to 1.08, and the weight is in grams, okay? Now for this exact same cone in millimeters, I'm going to measure its length. Okay, so it's 24. So my length is in millimeters, 24. So make sure you keep them paired. It's important that they're paired up. You don't do these like at two different points in time, because you're going to need to graph these points versus one another in a scatter plot to look at a relationship. There's actually 3 different graphs you're going to make from this one data set. All right, you're going to be looking at the distribution of the weights, the distribution of the lengths, and then you're going to be comparing, seeing if they're related, the length to the weight. So when you're done with one, make sure you put it aside or have a separate container so you don't redo the same one. See, this one is actually quite a bit larger. The idea is we're going to be looking at distributions. So how many of these large ones? Is this very common or is this very rare? So you're going to weigh this one. This one's now 2.77 grams. And its length is, see, your ruler bends, so if something is curved, you can go along the curve to get that, right? So it's actually 41 millimeters, and I'll just do another one here, for example. 1.35 and 28 millimeters, and so on. You would just keep going and going and going until you do them all. Like I said, after measuring them, you'd be done with them. You could put them back where you found them. You don't have to keep them at home, and you could do this on a park bench, because all you need is this little balance and something to write within your ruler. So you could just go out, collect them, do the experiment. And again, you don't have to use these kind of pine cones. You can use bigger pine cones. I said you could use seeds. A whole variety of different things you could use. The main thing to be concerned about is that you're not destroying anything natural, and especially something that's not your property. So you cannot just go collecting. Scientists have to get permits before collecting things from typically anywhere for their research. But if you're just picking stuff up off the ground, and then that's totally fine, right? And you're going to put it back. Or if it's on your property, and you have some trees and you're going to take a branch from the tree, or you have flowers and there's thousands of them and you want to use that, or ferns. I have ferns all over on my property. You can do something like that. That's totally fine. But do not go taking anything from parks that's destructive or any other property. And then if you can, just put the stuff back when you're done.